Imagine driving across a bridge so high that clouds drift beneath your car, not beside you or far away in the distance, but directly below, as if the road itself has been lifted into the sky. You glance out of the window expecting to see ground, trees, or maybe a river, but instead there's nothing except open air and a canyon that drops hundreds of meters into the earth. The horizon feels closer, the scale feels distorted, and for a moment it almost doesn't feel real. But this isn't a concept or a simulation. This is happening right now. In a remote region of southwestern China, one of the most extreme bridges ever attempted is rising across a landscape that has challenged engineers for generations. It's not just another infrastructure project. It's a structure that pushes beyond conventional limits and forces a new way of thinking about how roads, terrain, and connectivity work together. This is the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge, and when it's completed, it will sit more than 600 meters above the ground that the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on Earth, would fit underneath it, with room to spare, not beside it, not near it, underneath it.
Hi, this is your host Marcus. Let's break down how something like this is actually built.
Everything begins long before any visible structure appears. Before towers rise, before cables stretch across the canyon, engineers have to solve the most important problem first: where and how the bridge will be anchored. At this scale, the ground itself becomes the foundation. Not soil, not surface layers, solid rock. The entire structure depends on anchoring directly into the mountain. So the first stage of construction focuses on preparing the site. Access roads are carved into steep slopes just to bring machinery into position. These aren't standard roads, they're temporary paths cut into cliffs, often barely wide enough for heavy equipment to pass. Once access is secured, drilling begins. Massive drilling rigs are installed on narrow ledges along the canyon edges. These machines bore deep into the mountain, creating anchor points that will later hold the full tension of the suspension system. Each anchor must be perfectly aligned, because once the cables are installed, even a small deviation can create massive structural stress. These aren't shallow foundations. They extend deep into the rock, reinforced with steel and concrete, designed to resist thousands of tons of force pulling in opposite directions. This is the point where the bridge truly begins, hidden inside the mountain. With the anchors in place, construction moves to the next stage, the towers. Unlike bridges built on flat ground, these towers don't rise from stable, level surfaces. They are constructed directly on steep, uneven mountain edges. This changes everything. Every segment has to be positioned with extreme precision, accounting for the slope, the wind, and the limited working space. The process begins with steel frameworks. These act as the skeleton of the towers, defining their shape and alignment. Cranes are used to lift sections into place, but at this height and location, even crane operation becomes complex. Wind conditions can shift quickly, loads must be controlled carefully, timing becomes critical. Once the framework is established, reinforced concrete is added, layer by layer. The towers rise gradually, segment by segment, each new section extending higher into the air. As the height increases, so do the challenges. Workers are operating hundreds of meters above ground. Wind speeds are stronger, stability becomes more difficult, but the towers continue to grow, because these structures are not just vertical supports, they are the primary anchors for the entire bridge. Everything that follows depends on them. Once both towers are complete, the construction shifts into its most critical phase, the cable system. This is where the bridge moves from being a structure on the mountain to a structure suspended in open air. Unlike traditional bridges, there are no columns rising from the canyon floor. No support from below. Everything depends on cables stretched across the gap. The process starts with a pilot line. A thin cable is first carried across the canyon. In some cases, this is done using drones or specialized launch systems. This cable is light enough to manage, but it creates the first connection between both sides. From that single line, thicker cables are pulled across, then thicker ones, and then larger bundles, until the full suspension cables begin to form. Each main cable is not a single piece. It is made up of thousands of individual steel strands. These strands are grouped together, forming bundles that are then combined into massive cables capable of supporting the entire structure. But placing the cables is only part of the process. They must be tensioned. Tensioning is what gives the bridge its strength. Each cable is carefully pulled and adjusted so that it forms the exact curve required to distribute weight evenly across the span. Too much tension, and the structure is overstressed. Too little, and the bridge will sag under its own weight. So every adjustment is calculated, measured, tested. At this stage, the bridge still doesn't exist in a traditional sense. There is no deck, no roadway, only cables stretched across open air. Then comes the next phase, building the deck. Unlike ground-based construction where structures rise upward, this process works differently. The bridge grows outward. Deck segments are lifted into position from both sides of the canyon. Large steel sections are transported to the edge, then lifted by cranes and attached directly to the suspension cables. Each segment is installed individually, aligned, secured.
We're standing over 600 meters above the ground, and yet the entire structure will be ready soon.
And then connected to the next, the structure begins to extend into the canyon, one piece at a time. There is no support underneath, no scaffolding from below. Everything is suspended. As the segments are added, the bridge slowly takes shape, extending further from each side, reducing the gap. At this point, the work becomes even more precise. Because as both sides approach the center, alignment becomes critical. Even a small miscalculation can prevent the final connection. Eventually, the two sides meet. At the center of the canyon, this is one of the most important moments in the entire build. The final segment is installed, connecting both halves into a single continuous structure. But even after the bridge is physically complete, the process isn't finished. Because at this height, the environment becomes part of the engineering system. Wind is one of the biggest challenges. At over 600 meters above the ground, airflow behaves differently. It's faster, less predictable, and capable of creating powerful forces across the structure. A rigid bridge would struggle under these conditions. So instead, this structure is designed to move slightly, to flex, to absorb energy rather than resist it. This flexibility is built into the design, not visible to the eye, but essential for long-term stability. Every connection point is reinforced, every cable is tested, every joint is inspected. Because once the bridge is operational, it won't just support its own weight, it will carry constant movement, vehicles crossing continuously, wind forces changing throughout the day, temperature shifts expanding and contracting materials. All of these factors act on the structure at the same time, and the bridge must handle all of them without failure. Then there's the logistical side of the project. Every piece of material used in this bridge had to be transported into this environment first. Steel sections, concrete, machinery, tools, all of it. This isn't a flat construction site. It's a mountainous region with limited access. Materials are moved along narrow roads carved into cliffs. Equipment is positioned on uneven terrain, and every stage of construction depends on careful coordination. Nothing arrives by accident. Nothing is installed without planning. Because at this scale, mistakes are not easily corrected. And yet, despite all of these challenges, the structure comes together, step by step, anchor by anchor, cable by cable, segment by segment, until what started as two separate points on opposite sides of a canyon becomes a single continuous bridge, suspended in open air, high above the ground. This is how a structure like this is built, not through a single breakthrough, but through a sequence of controlled, precise stages, each one building on the last, each one extending further into space where there is nothing beneath it. And when it's complete, the height is no longer the most impressive part, because the real achievement isn't how high it stands, it's how it was built there in the first place.